Welcome everyone to 7 Minutes or Less, talking about the shows you love and want to get into. Today we will be talking about Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is about four individuals who never had a handle on their own lives brought together when a doctor, Niles Calder, helps them after tragedy befell all of them, and he gives them the opportunity to stay and have a chance at a better life. With four of these individuals, Dr. Niles shelters all of them have distinct problems and powers of their own. Crazy Jane, played by Diane Guerrero, has 64 distinct personalities, each with their own superpower. The primary personality, Jane, is a very vulnerable person and avoids connecting with people. Larry Trainer, played by Matt Bomer, is a former pilot who has negative energy residing in him. This negative energy is a huge conflict for him as he doesn't have a clue how to work together with it. We also have April Bowlby as Rita Farr, an actress who was exposed to a toxic liquid during a performance gone wrong. She struggles with the powers of elasticity as her emotions tend to cripple her from anything progressive. Saving the best for last, we have Brendan Fraser as Cliff Steele, who was a NASCAR driver turned robot when his body was rendered beyond repair by an accident that took his life. All four of these characters, while damaged in their own way, find themselves at odds with the world they once knew and tried to adapt toward. When Niles is taken by a supernatural villain known as Mr. Nobody, played by Alan Tudyk, the team realizes they are better together than apart, and they know it's their best option to save the man who saved all their lives throughout the years. Sadly, while they are at odds with the situation and themselves, Cyborg brings them together on a positive note and focuses their priorities to what they need to do to get Niles Calder back. This show is awesome. It's amazing. It's batshit bonkers and it knows it every step of the way. The best way I can describe this show is it's a better version of Umbrella Academy. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people out there that loved Umbrella Academy, but I didn't. Not the most incredible show ever. But I did find if you want to showcase individuals with distinct personalities that have their own issues to overcome, you kind of need the right formula to allow it, but keep the story in check. The difference between the two is where one lets the personalities run rampant, but it stalls the story while everyone is getting over themselves. The other keeps its issues in the front, but puts it in the back when the task is at hand is bigger than themselves. Doom Patrol keeps everyone's issues clear and focused, but doesn't meander when the clear and present danger is upon them. Everything in this show feels progressive and decides to relate the stakes to personal conflict. The next big thing I have to point out is the amount of time, care, and effort this show is putting forward. The story feels strong, but so do the characters with the actors who are portraying them. No one looks like they are phoning it in, and everyone feels 100% committed to it. Finding out certain things over time, I have been absolutely floored over the amount of story treatment and commitment this show has dedicated. For instance, Brendan Fraser, while a welcome sight in this show, is mostly present for flashbacks. Before you get disheartened, hear me out. Brendan not only is present for the flashbacks, but voices Robot Man all the way through. There's one episode where he is physically in a good chunk of the episode itself, but when he is not present and accounted for, another actor, Riley Shanahan, if I've said his name wrong, so sorry, portrays the physical aspect of Robot Man. But this isn't the only case where this happens. Two actors playing the same person. The same goes for Matthew Bomer as Negative Man. When showing flashbacks, he is physically there, but in present circumstances, another actor, Matthew Zuck, portrays the burnt, bandaged version. The star power in this show is something to be recognized, but how it's handled and treated doesn't feel like a superficial pull to get you to watch. Timothy Dalton is in this, and more than you would expect as Dr. Niles Calder. Alan Tudyk comes and goes as the supernatural villain as Mr. Nobody, and all of them feel like they are just here to tell a story and have fun. This is a show that has no quarrels with what it is, how it presents itself, and what it does to tell its story. Alan Tudyk is one of my favorite villains by far as a wisecracking narrator, ruining some, if not all, the moments of emotion for the sake of his own ego. Timothy Dalton portrays a tortured, multifaceted doctor who has a lot of demons in his closet. Brendan Fraser, Diane Guerrero, April Bowlby, Jovian Wade, and Matthew Bomer, Band of Misfits gets together to save one person. Big whoop, right? Well, Yes, this leaves plenty of room for the episodes to hold some real fun tricks up its sleeves. Like there is a sentient street called Danny that ended up being one of my all-time favorite episodes in this season, with a musical number that serves as the highlight for the entire season. Niles Calder isn't just an object of requirement, you get a lot of screen time with him throughout the episodes. Mr. Nobody is a fourth wall breaking, wisecracking villain I absolutely loved, and it leaves that much more room for heart. When things go down, you can get behind the story between each character. If there are any flaws I had to point out, to which, for the record, I'm reaching. While the finale is excellent of all the batshit crazy endeavors our characters go through, it does get a little ridiculous towards its end. And in strictly speaking, for all its already bonkers take on the superhero genre, that's it. It does have a small issue for forgetting characters once in a while, but they serve their purpose nonetheless. It does meander a tad bit, but that's expected for character growth. Everything else feels like I'm reaching. For instance, there are two emotional scenes that caught me off guard, and they were fully committing to the emotions they were trying to portray. They were succeeding so greatly to the point where that moment was ripped away, but one thing or another causing that abrupt end to the scene, an emotion that was building off just got cut off. That's not a flaw, that's just a brilliant way to create an effective scene and knowing when you have your audience. But it got me, and I hated how they took that emotion away. In the end, I absolutely adore the show from frame one to its last frame, and I just hope they make a season 2. I highly recommend it with what crazy tales they have to offer, and if you find it crap, that's okay too. I'm gonna give Doom Patrol an A. Alright guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed my review for Doom Patrol. Let me know down below if you're interested in seeing it or otherwise. If you're new to my channel, check out what I do. I create all sorts of stuff from TV show and movie reviews. Turn on those notifications if you haven't already, and subscribe for all the lovely content that I have waiting for your little eyeballs to see. I hope you all have a fantastic and wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, and as I said last, subscribe.